and welcome. We are Cats and Camo. Today we're reviewing the Taurus TCP.
Today we have gone tiny. In fact, I think that's what the T stands for.
Tiny, no, I don't know.
Tiny, crappy pistol. I mean, tiny, compact pistol. I play weird association games in my head. This is a 380. It's a pocket gun. It's very small. It's a single stack that holds 6 rounds in the magazine, 1 in the chamber. So 6 plus 1. And it weighs in at a staggering 10.2 ounces.
The barrel length of this gun comes in at 2.84 inches and only bringing the total length of the gun to 5.25 inches. The width of the gun is a shocking 0.778 inches. And the height only comes up to 3.625 inches.
This is a tiny gun. Tiny guns are frequently difficult to take apart.
Oh, really?
Because when you get everything this small, the standard ways to just take a gun apart, all the springs and the releases aren't there. And the TCP is a little bit more difficult to take apart. And now that I've said that, you're going to make me do it, aren't you? Mm-hmm. All right, let's take the TCP apart and see what makes it tick. All right, let's look at the Taurus TCP. They say good things come in small packages, but small packages are sometimes hard to open. Let's take it apart. First things first, look and make sure this gun is empty. No live rounds in it, or dead rounds. Magazine release button is small. It's hard to see, but it's easy to find. You're going to push it. Magazine comes out. We're going to set it aside. This gun does not come apart as easy as some. You see there's a little round, it looks like the head of a pin. We're going to push back on the slide a little bit so you can get to that first slide cut. And you're going to use your finger now and you're going to pry that out slightly. You're going to have a hard time pulling it all the way out, but the goal is to get it out part way so that you can take a small screwdriver, pocket knife, something, and get under the head of that. I just screwed it up to get under it. And then it just pops out. Like so. Set it aside. And now the slide comes off. After that, we're pretty much standard. Polymer frame. Be careful with the recoil spring and the guide rod because it is not what they call a double capture. Double capture means that it doesn't come apart. This one will. There's actually 2 small springs in there, so you can spend a significant amount of time finding that on your floor. So be careful when you take it apart. And then barrel lifts out. Normal, standard. Ta-da! The Taurus TCP. Putting it back together is also semi-difficult. This part still works normal. Normal, difficult for me. This pushes forwards, attaches. Slide goes back on. And then when you go to put this the rest of the way in, what you're going to see is that gap that this pin came out of. I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's a small pin there it's part of a spring, and this has to go through that. So it gets pushed down, and then that feeds in and clicks. Rack the slide, make sure your action's clean. Magazine goes back in, and there it is, the Taurus TCP.
Alright guys, we're on the range now with our Taurus TCP.
It's very much a close quarters combat self-defense gun. To that end, we've modified our basic shooting course today. Allie is not going to do 5 and 5. She's just going to do 3 and 3. There's 6 rounds in this magazine. That's the capacity for it. So she's going to do 3 rounds of torso at 3 yards. And then she's going to do 3 rounds in the torso at 7 yards. So basically this guy you're aiming low on from close quarters. Makes me nervous. That's how she fights empty hand as well. Alright, tiny slide, kind of difficult. The little Taurus TCP 380. jammed.
Okay.
Nice. All right, you got 3 at 7 yards. This is your old normal range. Good grip. Low. Low again, but better. Not your favorite gun to shoot.
This gun.
You what?
I hate it. Oh,
Taurus,
everything about
cover
it.
your ears. Don't listen to this.
Oh,
This
God.
is Allie's first experience, I believe, with an actual to carry gun. The one that's designed just to be concealed and used last ditch. Life depends on it and you've got no other options because it's not a range toy. It's not overly pleasant to shoot and not a lot of fun. And now that I've said all that, I get to shoot it. We're just going to do the same thing that Allie did. We'll do 3 and 3. We'll split them. So we'll go 3 for the head at 3 yards, and then we'll go 3 for the head at 7 yards with the Taurus TCP. And then we'll get a little more inventive with it. But let's just get a feel for this little gun first.
Thank you guys so much for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this video, point those crosshairs at the like button down below, and make sure to stay tuned for part 2, coming later this week. See you then.